evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 4, Episode 31, DJI and the Feds, Mini SE, and Mini Pro Updates. Zino Mini Pro Updates. Hope everyone is doing well this evening. We have a jam-packed show. I've invited Ron and Marcus. If they're available, they're going to join me maybe here in a little bit. Let's just dive right in. John Olson is here. Maddie's Drone World. Hey, Maddie. Mr. Stephen Ewing is here. Mr. Steve Mack is here. And welcome to everyone else that is watching Rotor Talk Live here Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Kind of want to, I think my big, news and updates. And I'm going to just, the news and updates, pretty much this is what we're going to be talking about for the whole show tonight. Got a lot to go over, but from a personal standpoint, I want to thank everybody who had sent me well wishes, who have been praying for me and good thoughts and positive vibes and everything. Is probably some of you know, last week I did a show, did a rebroadcast of a show that I'd had because I had a toothache, and the toothache developed. It's a tooth infection that needs to come out. Well, the dentist put me on Tylenol with codeine, Tylenol 3. It seems I had a bit of an adverse reaction to Tylenol 3 with codeine. And I experienced some withdrawal symptoms, and one of those was a panic attack, anxiety attack, and I had to go to the emergency room the other night. Thankfully, we have what's called a standalone emergency room. It's open 24/7. Nobody there. Got me right in. Did a complete checkup on me. EKG, blood work. Gave me something which helped me sleep that night. It took the edge off. And then unfortunately the next night it hit again, and I called my doctor's office and they were able to prescribe something for me, and I took that, and that helped as well. But the idea was the longer you distance yourself from when you've last had it, the better things are. And the past couple of nights, Valor and I have gone up after dinner up to our swimming pool and have been up there for hour 15, 20 minutes. And it's best medicine in the world. I'm going to tell you that right now, guys. If you got a swimming pool in your community, take advantage of it. They have plenty of swimming noodles. And for old farts like me and for my beautiful wife, Valerie, there's nothing like leaning back on those noodles. And, they play wonderful music there, and there's nobody there. I mean, it's like 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. It's a weeknight. The other thing that's helped me too is I've been watching some RC airplane builds. I know I'm a drone. This is a drone channel, but I'm allowed to say that. And the other thing is I've been, just really trying to chill out and relax, and all that kind of good stuff. So, Scott Nadeau's here. Who else is here? Lionel Oglesby is here. Recovery Drone, welcome. Johnny Drone Flyer, welcome. And again, I can't thank you guys enough for your thoughts and prayers. I'm taking it day by day. Work also helps tremendously, being occupied during the day, doing chores, that type of thing. And I slept very well the past 2 nights without any kind of medicine, and I'm hoping for night 3. And like I said, the longer you distance yourself from that, they said 3 to 5 days is when these effects should start to wear off. And I think they are. So continue along those lines. I'd greatly appreciate your prayers. I thank you so much for them. Sorry, got a little teary eyed here. But anyway, we got a lot to talk about tonight. And I was pleased because there's actually quite a bit to discuss tonight. Okay. Hey, Frank Walker, welcome. Thank you, Recovery Drone. I really appreciate that. So yeah, I mean, it's like, some weeks you get, I'm popping out the chat. Sorry, guys. I wanted to be able to see it better. Hey, DeMarco, welcome tonight. Brad Alston, welcome. Frank Walker, welcome. Crypto Man 5000. Just when you think that would never, ever, ever, ever show up, wouldn't you know it? There's a Vcoptr Falcon update of all things. guys, it kind of blew me away here. Okay. Let's get that article up here. And this was just one of those things that just kind of like popped out of the blue. I saw it and I said, you gotta be kidding me. You absolutely have to be kidding me here. It's just absolutely, positively amazing here. Let's see if I can get this. Share screen here. All right. All right. Khan's Haji, okay, who our buddy Ositalev has copied a lot of. So are you ready? And there's a box there with a Vcoptr Falcon. It's been a long time coming, but it appears 00 Robotics Vcoptr Falcon drone, which offers a highly unusual design and impressive flight time, is ready to ship to customers. When China's 00 Robotics first announced its Vcoptr Falcon drone, it raised a lot of eyebrows and a lot of pre-orders. The design was unlike any other drone. Now, finally, the product is getting ready to ship. If you haven't seen the design before, there's that video, and it's not really a good video. Company followed up less than a month of video posted with an official launch event. Actually, a drone flying. It's worth scrubbing, though, and that's kind of indoors. Is it ready to ship? Well, based on a tweet by Khan's Haji, it appears to be good to go. And there you go. We think it's a super cool design. I hope it lives up to its claims specifications because they're impressive. This is from the 00 Robotics site. Price, there's no price on the 00 Robotics website, but when the product was first announced, it was going to retail for $699. You could secure your spot in line for a $100 deposit. A recollection that the price got bumped at one point. And here's some picture. Well, yeah, this kind of looks legit here, guys. That's the package. We're pretty sure that's a case T. Yeah, that's a case for it up at the left. All right. Well, wait, there's more. Okay. Khan's Haji here said that evidently there's a mini variation of this. So this is something you need to pay attention to and stay tuned. Again, you know, I go to three sources here, guys. I go to DroneDJ, I go to Drone XL, and I go to Sally French, Drone Girl, to get my news and information here. So this is something you want to pay attention to, and I think it's pretty cool. We could have a lot. You know, all of a sudden, you know, it's like we have nothing, and then all of a sudden, boom, we get a ton out there. We get a ton out there, and you know, especially with news. And I think this is fantastic news. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are as well. It's an innovative design. It looks interesting. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds for this. So, and I know one of the things. Let me turn my light on it because I forgot to turn it on. Had sunshine here. All right, there we go. All right, got a little bit more light on the subject. Not that you need light to light up this ugly mug here, but hey, you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Okay. One of the things that I do remember is, and Marcus had said to the effect, he had, and I'm pretty sure it was a Vcoptr Falcon when he went out to the show in Vegas back in 2000 or 2020, when of course no COVID, or probably 2019, and said that they had a remote, but he said it felt very cheap. It felt very plasticky and not really kind of put together. They didn't even have a demo unit there. So so take that for what it's worth. But, you know, lo and behold, here we are in 2021 and coming up end of July, beginning of August, and we see it. So Lauren, Vcoptr is garbage. I'm laughing, Lauren. You're probably right, because all we've seen is indoor footage, and we haven't really seen footage from it. We've seen it flying indoors and not a whole lot. So we'll go with that. We'll go with that. I mean, that's all I can say. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about tonight, and, you know, we've had roundabouts with this subject going on what it seems like at least a couple of years with DJI and the Department of Defense. Okay. Well, DroneDJ, and that's DroneDJ had a wealth of information. Sorry, hey, I don't mean not to use your site, but I mean, I'm getting a lot of, but I do use that, and Sally, I use yours too. So, but had a great article here, and I'm going to put this up because I think I think it would be a good thing to take a look at this here. And one of the things I will say here is, all right, this is actually a statement. All right, this was a statement by the Department of Defense. So let's go ahead and pull that screen up here. All right. Immediate release, Department statement on DJI systems, July 23rd, 2021. They issued a statement on Friday saying its position that systems produced by DJI pose potential threats to national security. The statement appears to have been triggered by a recent Pentagon audit that suggested at least 2 of DJI's drones have been assessed and possessed no cybersecurity risk. We wrote about that at the time, and DJI was quick to amplify that 2 of its products had apparently been cleared. Not so fast. The messages from the Department of Defense. Bad news for DJI. Having the U.S. Department of Defense say your products pose potential threats to national security must sting. The company had previously been placed on the Department of Commerce's entity list, alleging DJI technology played a role in human rights abuses against the Muslim Uyghur minority group in China. Being on the entity list bans the transfer of technology from the U.S. to China. DJI, meanwhile, has been pushing back against what it calls data security myths for more than a year. The Department of Defense release. Let me read this to you, and I think it's important that I read this out. A recent report indicated that certain models of DJI systems have been found to be approved for procurement and operations for U.S. government departments and agencies. This report was inaccurate and uncoordinated, and its unauthorized release is currently under review by the department. In 2018, DoD issued a ban on the purchase and use of all commercial off-the-shelf drones, regardless of manufacturer, due to cybersecurity concerns. The following year, Congress passed legislation specifically banning the purchase and use of drones and components manufactured in China. DoD complies with Section 848 of the FY20 National Defense Authorization Act and additional guidance provided by Executive Order 13981. And against this backdrop, there's a blue SUAS. Okay. The Department of Defense statement says there are exceptions that are allowed to purchase Chinese-made drones, and they're not for circumstances Chinese drone manufacturers will appreciate. Such drones can be purchased, as a statement, if the operation of procurement is for the purpose of counter-UAS surrogate testing or training, or 2, intelligence, electronic warfare, and information warfare operations testing, analysis, and training. Of course, it would be unfair not to mention what DJI's position is on this. And it said, DJI said, the DoD statement confirms what DJI was told by a DoD official earlier this year, that an internal technical security review involving reverse engineering of all source code was performed on DJI products, and that this deep technical analysis confirmed DJI products showed no malicious code or intent and are recommended for use from a security perspective. It was not a report that commented on or changed DoD procurement policy, which is governed by a 2019 statute, which is what the DoD statement today simply reiterates. The DoD source code analysis is the latest on a long list of third-party security examinations of DJI technology during the past 3 years, and no evidence has ever been presented in support of the notion that DJI products are a threat to national security. DJI often points reporters and critics to its article, Busted 5 Common Myths About DJI. DroneDJ's take, this is far from over. One of the things, and this is, I want to spend a minute here, because I think this is important, guys. Let politics aside. This has happened during 2 different administrations, okay? Republican administration and a Democratic administration. So, you can kind of push politics aside, and they're bringing this up again, and they're doing it for a reason, okay? There's a lot of people that know a lot more than a lot of us know here. So, that's all I'm going to say. Okay, we had it happen in the previous administration. We had it happen in this administration. Same kind of statement, same kind of thing. I think they're just kind of rehashing things that have already been said, in my opinion. And I know they've gone out, and DJI has gone out and has really done a lot in terms of showing how secure their drones are. But be that as it may, I don't have this top security access and clearance and all that kind of good stuff, but I'm not saying anything one way or the other. All I'm saying is, let's see how this plays out. So, but remember, this is just for the federal government. This is Department of Defense, Department of Commerce. They're not going to be purchasing DJI drones. Okay, this is just let's kind of be up and on the up and up about that. Okay, I think that's kind of important here. Let's see, just checking the chat out here. Hell 9000 Zigzag Ground Zeros here. Akarasho's here. And Lauren's here. I'm sorry, Lauren. I got to greet you as well. And the subject, this one actually surprised me here, guys. Reading the article at first and finding out and looking at it, and go to DroneDJ for all these articles, guys, and get the information here, because this is where I'm getting my information. But this is something, okay? This is pretty interesting here. Now, let's go ahead and bring up the article, okay? All right. Now, you may recognize this young lady here. She was in the intro video for the DJI Mavic Mini. First came out. Well, is the Mini SE, is the U.S. market next, all right? What's interesting about this article here, okay, and let me go down here to, this is a statement from DJI. The DJI Mini SE is a specialized product tailored for entry-level drone pilots in markets where consumer drone use is emerging. There are currently no plans to sell this product in the United States or Europe apart from Russia. DJI Mini 2 remains our flagship entry-level drone with its superior 4K 30 frames per second resolution and up to 10-kilometer image transmission, subject to local rules and regulations. However, only a few days later, the drone hit the database of the FCC, Federal Communications Commission, which is typically an indication that a product is ready to be released commercially. DroneDJ colleague Scott Simi has shared the photos from the FCC filing here. And of course, we'll take a look at these photos, okay? All right? This is from the FCC, all right? And when's the date of this article? This was July 7th. So it's very interesting, because we have, on one hand, what DJI is saying, and on the other hand, oh, by the way, it's on the FCC Grant ID database. So what's all that mean? Okay. Seriously. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. All right. That's just, where are we going here with this? All right. DJI are we going to be seeing it here in the US or not? And when you go through this FCC Grant ID database, I've done some research on stuff. I mean, it's pretty much a lock that it's going to come out in the United States. Why DJI made that statement, I don't know. Well, okay, here's what I'll say, and maybe our good friend Mr. D can chime in on a little bit on this. One of the things that DJI wants, they want to make sure that product that they have available right now is still selling, okay? So for them to come out and say, the Mini 2 is our flagship drone, people will continue to buy it, okay? This kind of a thing. The other thing that says and screams that this is coming out for the U.S. is people have actually seen in Walmart tags and spots for the DJI Mini SE, all right? So, it's just one of those things. It's just really kind of funny. We have the Mini SE here in Canada, okay? Captain Drone has the SE in hand, has made a video on it. Thank you, Stephen, okay? Yeah, see, it's already in Canada. So it's imminent that it's going to come to the United States. I mean, it doesn't make sense for it not to be here in the United States. It really doesn't, okay? And thank you, Stephen, and thank you for Lauren for adding that input. I appreciate that. So So we know that now. So, it's very interesting why DJI came out and said this, and then you see it out on the FCC Grant ID database. I don't have an answer for that, guys. I don't know why. I really don't know why. I really don't have an answer for that. I mean, it's really kind of funny and bizarre that they would put it out there and then say, well, we're not going to be selling it in the United States or Europe for now. So, all right. But remember, okay, and I know you'll see, I know Captain Drone, Steve always does a great reviews and everything here. Okay, guys, the Mini SE is just a watered down, I'll call it watered down, basic version. It's even more basic than the Mini was when it came out, okay? It's a price leader. It's meant to get you to get into the market and into DJI drones. That's why they're coming out with it, okay? And it would be foolish for them not to continue to do it. I mean, there'll be people who could just be able to afford this, and then if you want to kick it up, you go to the Mini 2. You get the 4K 30, okay? And OcuSync 2.0 and all the other benefits that it has. But for an entry-level drone, it can't be beat, okay? And in the Mini SE, that'll be a fantastic drone. Do I plan on getting it? No, I don't plan on getting it because I've already had it. And look at my Mini reviews, basically. You're not getting 3 batteries with it. You're not getting a case with it. I don't know how they'll market it here in the U.S. if it's maybe in a plastic blister or something to cut down on cost. Who knows? Okay, but they're going to do it cheap. It's not. They're not going to spend a lot of effort on this. So that's kind of what I think. Akarasho, the Mini SE may be marketed to spook Hubsan and Fimi to rush the rollout of their products. That could very well be. That's a good point. Thank you for bringing up. That's why this audience is the best. You guys rock. Bringing up good points like that. So, is there going to be a Mini 3, Scott? And they do. And I agree with Maddie. Absolutely. 100%. You can count on that. You can take that to the bank and cash it and put it in. There will be a Mini 3. My prediction, it's going to come out November. Okay. November seems to be a good time because, think about marketing. And I know some people have talked to me about this. One of my majors was in business and we had to take marketing courses. And one of the things is timing is everything. And remember, Black Friday will be coming up. Christmas will be coming up. The holidays will be coming up. Boxing Day in Canada. People will, it will be a natural gift under a Christmas tree. Okay. And who knows what they'll have on the Mini 3. That's TBD. Of course, they're probably already testing a prototype that we don't even know about right now for the Mini 3. And I will say this. And while we're on DJI, and I still want to continue this before we get to our main topic here. Okay. Fly Zone Drones, I'm doing well. Thank you so much. David Martin Graff, welcome. Thank you here. Ariel Sean, welcome. Good to see you, my friend. Glad you're here tonight. And for those of you that have joined late, had an update on me personally at the beginning of the video, so you may want to watch the rebroadcast. But I want to take this time again for those of you that joined late. Those of you who are friends with me on Facebook saw my post, and I want to thank everyone for their thoughts and prayers and well wishes. Please continue those. This is kind of like day 3 for me from this. Last night was good. Night before, was good. So we want to build on some progress here. So, just again, want to thank everybody for that. But I talk about it in detail at the beginning. Anyway, here, okay, Mavic 3, okay, and you guys have probably heard it. And I don't know if other guys have talked about this or not. But they're saying now, not even October, November, it could be next year, for all we know. Who knows? Okay. Who knows? But that's what we're hearing. I don't know if Lauren's heard any more on that than I have, but that's the churn that I've seen. I've seen it in several different iterations, both on Twitter, on some other accounts and other news spots. So my best guess is, it's going to not come out. I don't think, from what the way the news is, they're talking like it's probably not going to come out this year. My guess is it'll probably come out next year. Okay. which, I mean, that's DJI, and that's their marketing, and that's all they're going to do. Lauren knows. Lauren knows. Okay. Yeah, I kind of figured, and you definitely stick those little tongue out emoticons to the rest of us. So, and I know you can't say, but I'm glad you do know, and that's a good thing. So the thing that we can say, and I think Lauren will agree, there will be a Mavic 3. Don't know if it's going to be called a Mavic 3. Who knows? Who knows what DJI is going to call it? But there will be one. There'll be a successor to the Mavic 2 Pro and Zoom. So stay tuned for that. Probably gonna happen. My guess, it's probably gonna happen towards the end of the year or maybe early next year. So we'll see that. Okay. Now, the hot topic of the night, okay? Hubsan Zino Mini Pro update. And I know you guys have been chatting about it a little bit here. So, and I thought this, and I got a lot to say on this, okay? First of all, let's go to the article. I want to share the article with you guys because there's some good information. DroneDJ, Drone XL, Sally French, guys, they're the ones to go to, and I highly recommend all three of them to go to get drone news because they do a fantastic, each one of them on their own does a fantastic job. Please look at their web pages every day. They do a great job. And that's just a plug for them. You know, I know, hey, Kestelou pretty well. I know Sally French pretty well. You know, I'm not too familiar with the guys at DroneDJ, but they do a good job. So patronize them. Anyway, here. Okay, let's go. Let's go to this here. Okay. I'm going to share the screen. All right. Hubsan Zino Mini Pro go for launch. Okay. And of course, what's the picture you see here, guys? It's from what? The FCC Grant ID database. How about that? Okay. We see the drone, we see the controller, and we see the adapter. Okay. They got one up on Fimi. They actually give you an adapter here. Okay. Now let's go here. Okay. And that's because the Zino Mini Pro has just turned up on the database of the Federal Communications Commission, which is usually the final step before a product is released commercially. And then Hubsan apologizes for Zino Mini Pro shipping delay. You know, Hubsan indicates in the video that it's open to procuring chips at a higher price. Also, if that can help to expedite the shipping of the fully assembled drone. The drone maker is also offering compensatory rewards to those who pre-order the Zino Mini Pro before June 15th. These customers will receive complimentary access to Hubsan Care Refresh service worth $59 in a free Hubsan gift bag. Okay. First question. What happens if you order it after June 15th? You don't get a thing. Okay. All right. Zino Mini Pro stripped down. And you can see there's a bunch of images here. And you can take a look at its works here. And the board and everything. All right. The Zino Mini Pro comes with a 1/1.3 inch 48 megapixel CMOS camera that films in 4K at 30 frames per second. The drone can fly for 40 minutes on a single charge, which means gives you extra 9 minutes of playtime compared to the Mini 2. And in what will probably be the biggest selling point, the Zino Mini Pro is equipped with 3-direction obstacle avoidance, a feature that DJI offers only in drones costing $799 or more. Hubsan's new drone does seem superior to DJI Mini 2 on many fronts that matter to a hobbyist, but it's still all on paper, and this is an important point. Hubsan has yet to show us how its obstacle avoidance sensors perform in the real world. We've also not seen any sample footage from the drone yet that would help us to understand whether the Zino Mini Pro's bigger sensor, Mini 2 has a 1/2.3 inch 12 megapixel camera, performs better in low light conditions or captures wider angle images than the Mini 2. Hubsan has priced the entry-level 64 gigabyte built-in memory Zino Mini Pro at $459. The starter bundle comes with 2 batteries, 8 props, and a carry bag. Cost you $539. You know, pre-order the Zino Mini Pro without waiting for the reviews. Probably a better option would be to throw in $30 more and get a 3-battery combo for $569. The 128 gigabyte version is priced at $509, $589, and $619 for single battery, 2 battery, and 3 battery combos, respectively. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. here's my rant. It's a beautiful sunset outside. I'd have tried doing one of these episodes outside one of these days, but it's just been too stinking hot down here. Okay. Sorry for this. Sorry for the sidetrack here. All right. Okay. Well, it looks like our good friend, Mr. Ron Brown, says he's hearing July 30th, and our good friend, Mr. Lawrence, said the same thing. So that kind of looks like what it's going to be is July 30th. Here's my big question. Okay. And I don't know if somebody can answer me this question or not. Okay. When do these go on pre-order? Okay. Now, all right. Let's kind of back up here a little bit. All right. And I think this is important. Okay. Akarasha, which year? That's a good one. I like that one. That's two thumbs up on that one, Akarasha. I like that. Okay. Which drone? Okay. When you go to pre-order a DJI drone, let's say it's not shipping immediately, it's already on the FCC Grant ID database. Okay. Hubsan. It was beginning of June, and I'm maybe foggy. It may have been in May when pre-order started for this. Okay. And one of those things that I overlooked, and I think a lot of people overlooked, was this on the FCC Grant ID database? I'm just assuming, yeah, of course, it has to be. Okay. Hubsan had their dog and pony show, which was a total abysmal disaster, with their prolonged question and answer, in Mandarin and in English and converting all that. And just the total disaster that was. And then they come out with their, chips being expensive and sorry for the delay, and we're going to compensate all you people. And then now we see pictures on the FCC Grant ID database. Okay. How, I thought, and this is just me, and I'm not sure, and maybe you guys can enlighten me on this. Yeah, Ron, hang on a second here. Maybe you guys can enlighten me on this. I need to know. Can you pre-order, or can you, without a, I'm sorry, I'm sending Ron. Ron's going to join us. Without a, without it being on the FCC Grant ID database, can you are you allowed to pre-order? Okay. Hey, Mr. Ron Brown, how are you, sir?
Bill, how are you doing today?
I'm doing a lot better today. Good to see you.
That's good to hear. I'm glad you look good, Bill.
Thank you. I'm feeling pretty good. Had a good evening up at the pool. That really kind of really just sets the tone for a good evening here.
Great. I heard you got a nice sunset going on out there.
Beautiful sunset right now. Like I said, I'd love to be able to do. I might one of these days do a broadcast outside because it's so beautiful. Do one of these. I got a question.
You mean in the fall once the weather cools down?
Absolutely. Got a question for you, Ron.
Yes.
Okay.
And I heard something you said. I think the pre-order for the Hubsan Zino Mini Pro. I think it was April.
Okay. So
I think my credit card was dinged April 10th.
Yeah, because I ordered mine in May sometime.
Well, maybe I'm totally wrong.
I recall late May ordering it, but my question is this. Okay, I was always under the assumption that in order to sell a drone here in the United States, that it had to be approved by the FCC, even a pre-order.
Well, I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah,
that does line up, but we joke around about this. But maybe this is more of a what do you call it, Kickstarter type of deal, where maybe they don't need it for a Kickstarter. I don't. To your question, I don't know the legalities of taking a pre-order of something that hasn't been approved because this is unknown territory. I mean, all our other drone makers, they take a pre-order like right before the drone's going to come out. Only companies like Fimi and Hubsan, and there's probably other companies like that. Only they're the only companies in the world that take a pre-order like 3 or 4 months out.
Yeah.
Outside of something that's a Kickstarter, Now, I mean, I will be fair. The original Xeno it was kind of launched as a Kickstarter. You know what I mean? Even if you got it from Hubsan, I mean, it was worded in a way that you were giving money to something that wasn't made yet. So you kind of understood that on the Zino 1, but that's not the way the Zino Mini Pro. I missed the thing.
No, you got it right.
The Mini Pro was sold. They didn't sell us like it was a Kickstarter. They sold it to us like, hey, this thing, you put your money in, and next month you get it.
Yeah, that's exactly, and that's the assumption. I know Marcus made that assumption, and everybody else I talked to made that assumption. And it's like, here we are. It's now end of July, and now, as you reported, and as Lauren has confirmed, July 30th seems to be a release date that has been out there and is creating some buzz. And
you saw Rick Smith's video about a week or more ago where he said that, to his information, a container ship has come to New York. So the units, this shipping date is not being you're getting a ship from some far-flung place in Asia. That ship date is from, a warehouse in the U.S. So to me, that's a real shipping date. Tell me you're going to ship something from Asia on a container ship. That's no...
it takes 30 days to get over here. I mean, it's incredible the amount of time it takes for a container ship to travel from China over to the United States. And, that's good news. Okay. That is some good news. And, but I got to say this, and the guys in DroneDJ really touched upon it. We saw that disaster, live intro thing that Hubsan had, which was a total disaster. But the thing that we have not seen yet, okay, we haven't seen any actual video footage from this yet.
And I want to get into that with you. Okay, we know that LQ2, not, I hate to butcher his name. He's a real nice guy. L something drones. He's in Indonesia. He actually put a short video out where he had it. He did a hover test compared to the Mini 2 Pro, but he hasn't put another video out on the Mini Pro since then. I wonder if he was contacted by Hubsan and told not to make any more videos on it.
Right, you're talking about L3 Toys?
Yeah.
They're great guys.
Yeah. He hasn't put that video is like 3 or 4 weeks old now. He hasn't put anything out since. So he must have been told, hey, you're under NDA. You can't show any more videos on it. So, I mean, you got to give Hubsan credit. They made the worst promotional video of all time. They made the worst delay in shipping, but they keep their people tightened down on their NDAs. DJI's NDAs, they're loosey-goosey. Information's leaking all over the place like a bad sync bill, but Hubsan, their NDA, those things they're locked down.
Yeah, and it's really kind of funny because I would expect by now. I mean, remember when and I'm talking about probably going back to I think the Fimi X8 SE 2020. Okay, and video had come out well ahead of that. Okay, we got to see it. We got to know. What it was like. I mean, albeit it was at night, it was a range test at night from God knows what, 2,000 or 3,000 feet. Yeah. But still, at least we had some video. Okay. We had something to digest, something to look at, something to chew on. Here we have nothing. Okay.
No, I mean, this is kind of unheard of, this type of, and we're all afraid. We were all afraid all along. It's because they don't actually have a drone to show this stuff from, whatever. But obviously, if they have one sent to the FCC, they actually have a real working drone, right, Bill?
Yeah, they have to. I mean, in order for the FCC to approve it, it has to be working. And the FCC actually runs it through a benchmark of tests, and they actually pull it apart. I mean, you saw the pictures. They take all the boards out and they check all the components.
And I hope it's in the hands of a lot of beta testers, because the last thing I want to do is get this drone before it's been thoroughly vetted by the testers, Bill.
Yeah. Another
I don't want to be not the alpha tester of this drone.
Well, kind of like what Gorilla Man said about the Fimi Mini. We weren't beta testers; we were alpha testers. Okay.
Yeah, I stole Gorilla Man's line there. I don't want to be the alpha tester of the Xeno. I hope all sorts of people have this thing, and they've been flying it hard for the past 3 months and reporting everything back to Hubsan.
The only person who I can begin to think of that may have it and may be testing it and is quiet about it is Steve, Captain Drone, because he has some pretty good communication with Hubsan. So maybe he does, and that'll be a godsend if he comes out there and he gets a video out there and we see it, and we're looking at that footage, and it's good footage. That's going to be exciting. Okay. And, and the other thing too is, we haven't really, they say it has obstacle avoidance. Okay. Again, another thing we don't know. All that we've seen was we saw
if you examine that grain carefully, it's in there. I know it has front and rear obstacle avoidance. That's in that database thing you showed earlier.
Mm-hmm. It has it. And the only thing, and we saw L3 toys. And it was a hover test, and we saw what DJI or Hubsan's disaster live event, which somebody's all they had to do was watch the drone, and they failed their job. Disaster kind of a thing, but we don't know. I mean, that's another unknown. We really don't know that. So it's like, yeah, but that's part of the beauty of this. We'll find out coming up here in probably a little bit more about 10 days.
Yeah.
We'll probably have them in our hands.
And not only with that PR thing with the crashing bad, but now in retrospect, it's even worse that they put a preview out for something that was nowhere near getting released.
Yeah.
What I mean? That thing was what, end of May or something?
Yeah.
And here we're almost in August. And so why do a PR event so far out?
Yeah, it was so far out. And I've heard the reasoning, and I'll call it reasoning for lack of a better term. I should say use the word excuse. I've heard a lot of people talk about the chip shortage. Okay. Well, let's say this. Okay. The chip shortage has affected everybody. All right. I know from having to get a new car this year, having to wait. Okay. That's been a waiting game on everybody. But if it was so bad, okay, DJI would have a problem cranking out drones. Fimi would have a problem cranking out drones. Everybody would have that problem. Is it an excuse? Who knows? My guess is probably, I would to say on the one side, yeah, it probably was an excuse. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either, because the more they delay it, the more they hurt themselves. Like, there'd be no reason to delay the drone unless there was some real reason, whether it could be parts, whether it could be they don't have the firmware right. There's obviously a reason, and whatever that reason was, I hope it's thoroughly vetted and sorted out before that drone ships out to us, Bill.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope that when we get this, okay, that it isn't the disaster that the Fimi Mini is, okay?
Right.
And I got to say this, our good friend Marcus is a trooper. I mean, he is a trooper to the nth degree, and he has given the Mini. And Marcus, if you're watching, kudos to you, because you have given that drone not once, not two, you've given it multiple opportunities.
Talk about giving a fair shake, huh?
He really has, okay? And, and God bless you, Marcus, for doing that stuff, because, there's point. I mean, I didn't mind my videos coming together. I'm going to get it out. It's just, I've had things going on here.
Right.
But, one of the things that I will say is I didn't experience the issues that Marcus did, okay? Which is unusual. Okay. One of my issues was the Fimi Mini would deviate off course, and it was significant. I mean, it required input from the stick to try to keep it on a straight course. It was pretty bad.
What did we call that with the Xeno one? We used to have a name for it where it wouldn't fly straight.
That deviation. Yeah, there was.
Yeah, we had like a I don't know, cooler sounding word. The deviation sounds real technical. They used to be like a slang word they had for but I forget what that was now.
Yeah, but
that was correct. That was corrected in the firmware update at one point. Hopefully, Fimi could fix your deviation.
Yeah, and just really kind of I had an okay experience, but and one of the things that I'll say about that in comparison here, okay, I think Fimi rushed it to market to beat Hubsan. All right, they wanted to get it out there ahead of Hubsan because they knew Hubsan was coming out.
Well, they didn't have to hurry that much.
Yeah, well, it was if they would have spent some time pulling it back, saying, look, let's get this right before we put it out. I mean, Fimi seems like a reasonable company, and I know Marcus has had good experience with their customer service. I have as well. They've seemed to be pretty responsive to stuff, much more so than Hubsan is. But had they waited a month, even a month, Ron? Had they waited a month? Had they done some more real, true beta testing before they put it out? They could have done some tweaks with the firmware and really kind of honed it up and made it a decent drone. Instead, okay, the only people I recommend to buy this drone are drone enthusiasts like you, like me, like Marcus, like a lot of our followers.
Hardcore, yeah.
Yeah, I don't recommend, you're going out to buy your first drone. Don't look at the Fimi Mini. Don't even think about it.
That'll be your last drone.
Yeah, it'll be your last one, and you'll get a bad taste in your mouth. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Fimi, all the goodwill they kind of had built up with the the 2 X8s or whatever in a row, the 2018 to 2020, all that goodwill they just lost it right back with the Mini. It's a shame. They built up, said, I know they took Crooked Horizon, but they kind of built up a little bit of faith, whatever, and they lost it all back. And to your point, if the Mini Pro comes out and it's the same type of disaster, I mean, that's really going to, Fimi, Hubsan, that's going to make the drone buyers really lose faith in the challengers to DJI. And what if DJI all of a sudden say, hey, the Mini SE is out here and it's only $299? Like Brian Singleton said in a video recently, like DJI with their low-cost mini drones, they could kill this low-cost market or whatever.
Absolutely.
And Fimi and Hubsan, I mean, this drone is out yet, so I'm not down to whatever. But if it's not the success we hope it is, they're killing themselves. They're digging their own graves, is the old saying, right?
Exactly. I mean, if you don't take the time to, DJI will. Brian's right. DJI will crush them. I mean, they will absolutely crush them in all aspects. Okay, with the technology, with availability, and with pricing. Okay, I mean, and you probably saw it. I don't know if you caught that part of the show about the Mini SE, and it's available in Canada. And Lauren has said that, where it appears on the FCC Grant ID database. So it's pretty much it's a done deal. It's going to happen here in the United States as well. But I mean, having that kind of a price point on that kind of a drone from DJI, if you would look at that and look at Hubsan or look at Fimi, you would have to be nuts not to get the DJI drone. Absolutely nuts, Ron.
Right. Well, I mean, again, that's if the Hubsan's everything, it's if it works like it says it is, it's going to have all these extra features that the DJI SE won't have. Like it won't have obstacle avoidance and track. There's, again, I mean, I'm not going to say it's a failure. I mean, it's a failure coming out in time, but the drone can still show up and be a good drone, and it will distance itself, especially from the Mini SE, and maybe even distance itself from the Mini 2 if it has improved video quality and it has your obstacle avoidance, your tracking features. Kind of, it'll be that halfway drone, halfway between the Mini 2 and the Air 2 series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I
bet you, I feel there is a market for somewhere between those two drones.
I agree 100%. I mean, that gap there, that price gap that's there, okay, that's ready to be tapped, okay? And I think what's going to happen here, and this is just my conjecture about a Mini 3. I mean, I always love the November date because it seems like DJI, they came out with the first Mini in November, and I think the second Mini came out in November. They're probably going to do the same thing this year. And, and the timing is right with the marketing, Ron, because, Black Friday will come up and Christmas is coming and holidays. And, it's just like it'll be sitting under a lot of Christmas trees this year. And why not? Okay. And it'll probably be in that price point. And I think you really kind of hit the nail on the head. There's that gap between what the Mini 2 is right now and the Air 2S. There's nothing there. Okay. There's nothing of substantial that is there. Okay. Yeah. And I think DJI is going to hit that with a Mini 3. And it's going to be another home run.
And Hubsan is trying to beat them to that middle ground between the two drones. But, if they can't get the product out the door, it doesn't matter. If they can't get it out enough of ahead of time that they get a little, they kind of get a little ground in there before the Mini 3 comes out. They establish some goodwill.
Yeah, I mean, if they establish some goodwill, and here's the thing, and I kind of was alluding to this a little bit earlier here. Okay, Hubsan has put a lot into this drone, and by rights, on paper, and what we see, it looks really good. I mean, we'll find out. But okay, and here's the big thing: when that Mini 3 comes out, it's probably gonna say bye bye. I mean, it's gonna have probably obstacle avoidance all over, and
oh yeah, I'm sure it will, but it'll probably also top the Hubsan price.
Oh, definitely.
DJI is going to have to do all that and not raise the price by much, and that's not going to happen. You're not going to get all those extra bells and whistles for the current. What is the current price of the? I mean, $459 or $449.
Yeah,
you're going to see a price bump. To get all that
absolutely.
extra bells and whistles. So now they've got to compete on a price tag. Hey, I don't know if you cover. I don't mean to change stories, but in case you haven't touched it earlier in the show, did you talk about the Air 2S firmware update today?
No, I didn't.
It got a minor firmware update. I don't have the numbers. Actually, hold on. I took a screenshot of it, and I'll tell you exactly what the number of it. They got Maddie Kundolf in here, and Mikey from Fly Zone. They let me know about it during the course of the day, and I not only downloaded it, but I flew it too. 02.04.2040 for iOS. I don't know about Android. 182.3 megabyte size file, and it added trim download to the DJI Fly app. And what that is I've seen air photography show before, and I don't I don't know what drone it was on, but you say you take a roll long video, and you could trim the video down before you move it over, say, to your computer, so you don't have to move this large file. Say you flew for 20 minutes, but the first 10 minutes of the flight, you just hovered while you were trying to figure out. Say you cut that 10 bad minutes out and only send a good 10 minutes over, to the memory card or whatever, so that you don't have to get that whole file over to your, especially if it's on your phone. But some other DJI drone had that before. So, I guess it's a new feature here, but it's not a new feature overall. And also add the ability to synchronize HD photos. And what that is, and again, some other drones have had this because this is a new feature. If you click that in the settings, it'll put the full resolution photo on your phone. And even when you disconnect from the drone, that full res photo will still stay on your phone. If you don't click that button, it'll only put a low res version, like you can see in your phone. But as soon as you disconnect the drone, that'll disappear.
Okay.
So basically, what it's doing is, you'll fill up more space on your phone, but you'll have those pictures. You won't have to keep the drone connected. And then it said, this is the weird one, Bill. Extended time before the battery enters auto discharge after being idle for 5 to 9 days.
Wow, that's a good one.
So I don't know if I really need a longer auto discharge time than what it currently is, but I guess it's there for a reason.
Oh yeah. Well, I was going to take my Air 2S up with us when we went up to Ohio for my granddaughter's birthday. But it was like I was going to have to sit on my suitcase to get it to fit in there with everything else we were taking. It wasn't a go. Well, I actually got, the landing mat that you had reviewed.
The bigger one?
Yeah, the bigger one. I actually purchased that, to take up with me. And then I was just like, I had just let down. I was like, oh, it was just, and what I did was I got smart was I bought those individual, like a case just for the Air 2S, and then a case just for the remote itself. And space wise, it was looking pretty good. But with everything else we were taking, it wasn't a go.
I used to travel like that with the first Mavic Pro. I used to have a case for just the drone and a case just for the controller, and you could put them in your luggage real good, so it didn't take up one big block or whatever. But the cases were very secure.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it was just we were staying a little longer than we had planned, and then the fiasco. We had to fly out of Orlando instead of Tampa because of the hurricane. Okay, that was a whole whole interesting lot. We just had a lot of fun with that.
Right. Anybody's ever been to Disney World knows the Orlando airport is like the busiest airport in the world sometimes.
It is. It's. And I told my wife, I said, well, we got there 4 hours early. Okay. I mean, and you need to. I mean, especially with Orlando, because the way the lines can back up there, you need to get there early. We breezed through. We had 4 hours to kill before our flight. I mean, it's nice. It's always nice to be that far ahead.
You like to have that extra wiggle room there,
yeah. That's something. That's something that's pretty good with that. So,
hey, one other topic, real quick. Did you cover this? That I think was Drone XL and maybe DroneDJ are both reporting that the Action 2 camera from DJI will be coming soon, and it'll have 8K video up to 60 frames per second. Did you happen to see that article?
Yes, I saw that. I didn't cover that tonight, though. But yeah, I did see that, and it's going to be interesting to see how that lines up. Now, I know is GoPro coming out with a 10?
There's already rumors that the 10 will be delayed because of the chip problem.
Oh,
my thought on that 8K 60 frames per second is so far all the 8K devices seem to be using the quad bear sensor rather than the 1-inch sensor. So anybody who was hoping for a 1-inch sensor, and this is, most likely going to be disappointed because most of the 1-inch sensors go with that 6K or 5.3 or 5.4, whatever you're going to call it, that resolution. So unless DJI's made a breakthrough and they've made the first 8K 1-inch sensor small camera, here we go right back to this 8K. I'll say nonsense again, but
well, you also have to think too, Ron, that if they do have that in there, that thing they're going to have the technology. They'd have to figure out a way to cool that thing off because that thing's going to generate a lot of heat. I mean, it's like you put that thing underwater and water's probably going to boil. I mean, it's going to be like that.
Yeah, and again, this is just folks. This is rumors, stories. There's no FCC database or anything like that. So we're just at this point we're just talking rumors, speculation.
Well, one of the other things that I wanted to mention to you, and I don't know if you caught it, Vcoptr Falcon. I saw that on DroneDJ, and there's actual pictures. Kanhanshi put out actual pictures of the boxes.
It looks like it's finally going to ship.
It's finally going to ship. And, it was one of those things. Now, didn't Marcus, and I said this, and I'm pretty sure I'm right, he saw it when he was out at.
He saw it at CS in 2019 or
right.
Early 2020, right before the COVID.
Right before COVID.
And of course, he said they had it there, but, like it may have been flying around, like hovering on its own, but it was, you couldn't fly, you couldn't handle it. It was no live person flying it around. Like it was basically, it was like a ready prototype in that.
Well, he had mentioned something about the controller feeling real flimsy and just kind of fakey. But I mean, here we are, and everybody just kind of wrote them off and like we'll never see them again. They'll just go in the annals of a has-been, and then boom, here we are. As a picture pops up,
don't you remember the price point on that thing?
Well, it said $699 with $100 deposit, which everybody thought was pretty reasonable at the time. But then they talked about how there's no price that's listed on Falcon Vcoptr's website. So, probably they expect a price increase from that. But this is interesting news. I mean, I'm interested to see how this thing flies. Lauren said it's garbage. So,
yeah, I mean, I think they'll be all kind of assume it's garbage until we're proven it's not.
Yes, it's garbage until it's like guilty and innocent until proven guilty kind of.
We're going the opposite way on that. Yeah, innocent until proven guilty until proven innocent type thing. But I mean, that's just basically prejudice because we see this thing with only 2 propellers and whatever. And, and all these reports that it looks cheap and so on.
So,
but who knows? By this time, maybe they got a real nice controller. By this time, who knows?
It could be. It could be. So
speaking of controllers, did you see the smart controller got an update in the past week?
Yes, I did. I did see that. That's very.
I did the update, but I haven't flown a drone with it. I may get the Air 2S and try with it because it's reportedly now the Air 2S is working much better with the smart controller than it did.
Yeah, I had heard it wasn't working real good with before that
but I hear that's approved now. So I'll try to get out maybe this weekend and see if that's true or not.
Well, you know, and I got to say this, with personal circumstances aside, it's been too stinking hot to go outside to fly. It really has.
You and everyone else.
I mean, everywhere, and it's not just here. It's you. I know Marcus said.
Actually, we got lucky. I mean, it's hot in Philadelphia, but here at the shore, I mean, it's been basically a little cooler than usual summer. We've had very few 90s, and we get our humidity, but I can't complain at all. Here on the Barrier Island, it's been a decent summer.
Yeah, there's one of the cities by us the other day, 113. I mean, it was just, it's just these days you just stay inside. And then what's nice is when we go to the pool late afternoon, early evening when the sun is going down or is behind clouds. And today was a partly cloudy day. And it was wonderful getting in there because there was just, the water was just so nice. And
like the bath water they always talk about.
Yeah, it's like bath water. I mean, it's just, and the pool's not heated. Okay, this is what I try to tell everybody. It's not a heated pool. They don't need to heat them. I mean, it just happens automatically, pretty much. So
I actually went, I had run. I usually do my walks in the morning, but we had a lot of running errands in the morning, so I didn't get to do my walk until later. You can't walk in the afternoon; it's too hot for that. So I went down after 5 o'clock to walk on the beach. It was a cool breeze coming off the ocean, and the ocean was still kind of cold. So you walk right along the waterline. I mean, it felt good. In fact, people sitting down there, you saw some people with jackets and stuff on or whatever. You've been by the waterline.
You've been very fortunate because I know Marcus has talked about. He's had a lot of temps in the hundreds up where he is. It's just kind of crazy right here, right now. We just kind of got to ride this wave out. But I mean, in the evening, it gets to be fair. I mean, I went and I checked the temperature last night in the evening, like about 9 o'clock. It was still 85 degrees or something like that. It's like crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
So you're going to be on Mikey tonight?
Yeah, I'll pop over there tonight. So I don't know what's on the agenda tonight, but maybe I'll talk about this Air 2S update a little more because I let him know today. I think he did it too. I don't know if he's had a chance to fly it. Again, I flew it. I didn't notice any difference at all in the flight performance or whatever. What confuses me is up in the upper left-hand corner. Always has that mode and that altitude thing. And the altitude thing just said like a couple numbers the whole time. So I did kind of understand what was going on there, but that's nothing bad. I mean, it said it flew fine. It still gave me the high wind warning because it's a little gusty. Once I got above 150 feet, it gave me the high warning. So I backed down under 150 feet and, I was fine. But it seems to be good, at least on one initial 20-minute flight.
Well, any final thoughts for tonight, Ron?
No, just like you, Bill. I don't get my hopes up anymore, but I'm hoping to check my Hubsan order on the 30th and see some action. And the 30th is Friday, right?
Yeah.
So in a couple of days, I'm hoping to see going from processing to to shipping because Mav has been looking forward to this drone. Like we said, it's not just getting another drone. It's not just a Mini 2 clone or something like that. This is a drone. There is no drone, Bill, right now that sits between the Mini 2 and the Air 2.
Right.
This will be the first drone to kind of fill that middle spot. And again, we don't know. It could be the worst drone of all time. It may not even take off. But going by the specs, it slots itself in a new slot we've never had in this line of drones before. And of course, we're still waiting for the Mavic 3. You covered that. That's been delayed now, maybe until October. And it definitely seems like DJI's in no hurry to get that out the door. So we just patiently wait or whatever. I mean, speculate on what it may have that we don't already have on our current drones.
Yeah, absolutely. So fingers are crossed, and let's hope there's good news coming out this Friday about that, and we get some shipping updates. I think that'll put a kick in all our steps. I want to thank you, Ron. I want to thank Marcus too. I want to thank all of you for all your thoughts, prayers, and well wishes and everything again for what I've gone through. And I don't wish this on anyone. I got to tell you this, guys. It was kind of brutal. But last night was good. Night before was good. Let's hope tonight's going to be good as well. I'm doing things, and the more I distance it from the time that I had the Tylenol 3, the better I am. They said 3 to 5 days, so I hit 3 days today. Tomorrow will be 4. So we're fingers are crossed here. So and again, I want to thank everybody for their thoughts, prayers, and well wishes. And again, it's always a great day to fly. But you know what? It's even better when I have friends and who support me like all of you do, and especially my family as well too. So thank you all so much. And remember, it's always a great day to fly. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your evening.
Good night. Be safe.